How to throw an axe like a Viking part 3. And in this one here, guys, we're going to cover grip and release. Let's do it. So I'm going to try not to overcomplicate things, guys, because that can happen when you're talking about throwing anything. You can overcomplicate it, think too much, and then you're all kind of all over the place. So I'm going to try to keep it basic and simple for some of you guys who are trying to learn how to throw axes, and giving some pointers here and there for some people that may have a little bit more experience throwing that might help you in your game of consistency, accuracy, and power. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Wes. I am the Suburban Viking. Got my buddy Dave here with me, and we are Midgard Axe. Like always, guys, in the series of how to throw an axe like a Viking, this is how I throw. I'm not saying that everybody has to throw like this. This is just how I do it, and some of you are interested in knowing how I throw, so I'm going to teach you, okay? So keep that in mind when I tell you things. It's not the cure-all for everything, or it's not the best way to do it. It's just my way of doing it. Let's start with your grip. Do a little demonstration here. Stick your hand out in front of you, make a fist, really tight, okay? Get a really tight grip there, and then motion yourself kind of throwing, like you're going to throw something, okay? Do the same thing, but now do about half pressure, moderate pressure, and do the same thing. When you grip your axe handle too tight, you're not just gripping it here tight, you have tightness running all the way down to your elbow and then all the way into your shoulder, which makes for a really rigid feeling throw, okay? When you loosen up that grip on the axe handle, it feels more fluid. And like you guys see, if you slow down some of my axe throws, you'll see that when I come back to throw, I have a whipping motion. So it's like, whoom, okay? You're not really going to be able to do that with a very tight grip. It's going to constrict you, and it's going to feel odd, and you're not going to be consistent, and you're not going to be accurate doing that. So the first thing I always like to cover is that when you grip your axe handle, don't put a death grip on it. Moderate pressure. That's all you need. And sometimes, guys, I go a little less than that. You don't need a heavy, heavy grip on this axe handle. You're not chopping wood. You're not splitting wood. You're throwing an axe. Okay, so let's talk about where your hand should be placed on the axe handle and how it should be orientated. A lot of people may be having issues with accuracy and consistency, and it could be your grip. You never know. So let me show you guys what you could be doing and why it's causing you issues. Some people will put the axe in their hand here, or they will put it in the middle of their hand, okay? And I'm going to show you guys why you shouldn't put your hand there. Because whether you put it here or here, you get almost the same result. But I'll go ahead and put it in the middle of my hand and show you guys what happens. So if I put this in the middle of my hand, wrap my thumb and my hands around, my knuckles are flat towards the target. And for me to get my axe head straight, I got to do this. And if you don't know what I'm doing, let me turn around and I'll show you. In order for me to get this axe head straight, I have to do what with my wrist now? Look at that, guys. Look at my wrist. It's all bowed, okay? Now, watch what happens when I straighten out my wrist. Watch what happens to the axe head to get a more comfortable feel. And I will be honest with you guys and tell you that if you go back to throw like this, the first thing your body's going to want to do is straighten out your wrist. Watch what happens when I straighten out my wrist. Okay? Look at the axe head. Look what happens to the axe head when I straighten out my wrist. You're having to cock your wrist this way to get the axe head straight at your target. And like I said just a second ago, when you go back to throw, a lot of you probably don't even realize you're doing it, but when you go back to throw and you come over, your first natural instinct is going to be to rotate your wrist back over and get it in line with your arm. And when you come over, look what happens to the axe. It's kicked. If you guys notice that when you throw for a single rotation, it kind of hits weird, but then when you go back to double and triple, it just doesn't seem like it wants to stick, it totally could be because of your grip. And when you go to grip this thing like this and you go to throw, your axe head's coming down like this. So pay attention. Watch yourself when you go to throw. Look at your grip. Just grab your axe handle real quick and put your hand in it and see how you're gripping it. Look at what your wrist is doing, okay? And tell me what you guys are doing in the comment section now. I'm curious to know if that's what you're doing, and that could be your problem. So pay attention to that wrist and how you're grabbing the actual axe. Are you putting it too far down into your hand, causing your wrist to be kicked when you come down? Just grab your axe really quick and put your hand on it and see what you're doing. It could be that. That could be your problem as to why you're not able to stick your axe. It could be the problem why you're only able to stick it at a single rotation and why you're having so many problems with double and triple rotations. If you're able to throw it like this with your wrist kicked, I can tell you right now that you're not going to be very consistent unless you've mastered your wrist, because you can throw like this, like this, like this, but I'm going to tell you something. What you're going to have issues with going down the road is power, because it's really hard to throw like this with power. And if you do throw your axe like that and you notice that your wrist or your elbow's hurting, it could be because of your grip. So let me show you guys how I like gripping my axe and how I think this grip would work better for you. So instead of taking the axe and putting it down here or even putting it right here, what I like doing is I put it in the pad right here. This pad right here. So this goes in first, okay? My thumb wraps around and then my fingers wrap around. So basically an easy way to tell if you're gripping it correctly, you know your door knocking knuckles that you have right here, these right here? Make sure that they are in line with your axe handle and your axe head. Let me turn around and show you. You guys see that? Look at my wrist. Look at my axe head. Everything is in line. I don't have to worry about my wrist. So when I hand straight out, my wrist is straight, my arm is straight, my head is straight. So when I come over, everything is straight. I don't have to worry about my wrist, okay? Now, I will tell you guys that even though I put my axe handle here like this, the actual weight of the axe handle can change in my hand depending on how I'm throwing. If I'm throwing hard or I'm throwing for distance, I will bring this pad of my hand up like this, okay? It's still keeping my wrist in line, but if you guys watch when that pad comes up, watch what happens to my wrist. See how my wrist kind of kicks up a little bit? It will move your wrist this way and this way, not this way and this way though. It moves it up and down, but not left and right. That's okay. You can deal with that. Now, if I'm going to throw this thing really quick for accuracy and I want to do really quick axe throws, then I'm going to rest the handle more in the back underneath my thumb, the pad right here, because I can flick it out a lot faster, okay? Once you get really good, you can actually put it right in the middle and do both. And that's kind of what I do too. It really depends on the axe. If I have a really heavy axe, I might put a lot of the weight back in this pad right here. If it's light and I want to be nimble, I'll put a lot of the weight up in here, or I'll kind of just do something in the middle. You can do all three. As long as your knuckles are lined up with the handle and your axe head is straight, you can really do anything you want with practice. So try that. Tell me what you guys think. Go down in the comment section. Tell me how you're gripping your axe handle. I implore some of you, if you're gripping your axe handle and you look down and see that your knuckles are lined up like this, change your grip like this, go outside and throw. Come back and put in the comment section if you notice the difference. I'm curious, because it works for me. If you do change your grip, it's going to be something that you have to practice, okay? It's going to feel really weird. If you've been throwing like this forever and you go to change a throw like this, it's going to feel odd. You're going to feel like all the weight is in your fingers instead of in your palm. But I'm telling you guys, it works so much better. And it's a nice release too. It releases out of the hand a lot better when you use more of the pad here with your fingers than when you use the pad down here in the main part of your palm. It's a lot easier to throw, more clean release, and you get consistency and accuracy out of it. So try it. It's going to take practice. It's going to take a lot of practice getting used to that feeling. But I will tell you guys that if you do it over and over again, when you go to grab your axe, you won't even think about it. You'll just grab it like that. So you can just kind of just whip around and throw like I do. I don't even think about it anymore. I just throw the axe up, grab it. And my hand's already where it needs to be. I feel it in my hand the way it needs to be, and it releases cleanly. So try it out, practice it. Now, what you do with your thumb after you grab the axe handle is up to you. I know competition people grab the axe a little differently. I know some competition people will put their thumb up here like this. they'll do something like this where they put their finger up. I've seen all kinds of different grips, guys. You can do it however you want to, whatever's comfortable for you. I'm just showing you how I throw, and what I like doing is I just bring my thumb up right here. It controls the axe left and right for me, and it also helps with the weight in this part right here of my thumb right here. It helps push the weight up, especially throwing for distance. So when I throw for distance, I've got a lot of the handle back here, and then I've got my thumb wrapped here to push up too, okay? So try different things and then do what works for you. I'm just showing you guys what works for me. How you grip the axe is crucial, especially when you start working in unison with your wrist. And of course, guys, we'll cover wrist in another video. But let's get into how I like to release my axe. And I'll give you guys two different options, and I'll tell you which one I think works better. So I have two different types of releases that I do, and I'll show you guys how to do them. The first one is basically, you're going to grab the axe and you're going to throw it, and you're going to come into a handshake. So it's like this. Okay, so you're coming down and you're coming into a handshake. It's just a simple release out of the hand. You're coming down here, you're coming into a handshake, so it looks like this. Okay, coming down into a handshake. Boom, okay. Pretty simple, pretty easy. You don't really have to think about much. You're just kind of coming down to a handshake and opening up your hand to let the axe release out of your hand. I don't do that release anymore. It was something that I learned on, but I've learned that I can do a better release than that, which actually helps with power. I've found that when you do the open hand coming into a handshake release, it really is kind of hard. It can be hard, I should say, to throw your axe hard because you don't have leverage in the back here. You're trying to release it all at the same time. All your fingers are working together to try to release everything, so it's really hard to try to get the axe handle back when you're whipping to release it all at the same time like this. So that's just my experience and my opinion. It is a good release, but like I said, I've moved on to a better release, and let me show you guys what it is. So the release that works best for me now is what I like to call the C release, okay? So I get my hand on the axe handle, I got my door knocking knuckles out, I've got my thumb wrapped around the handle, and when I go to throw, what I'm doing is that when I come over, my wrist is throwing the axe too. So not only am I whipping over, but my wrist is actually going forward, and I'm just releasing the axe out of my hand like this and coming into a C. The reason why I found this to be a lot better is, number one, I can control my hard axe throws a heck of a lot better that way. I've got more leverage on the axe handle by releasing it that way. Number two, my accuracy has improved because I'm not having to worry about releasing all of my fingers at the exact same time, moving my thumb out of the way, and having to worry about this finger sticking out too much and kicking the axe or anything like that. It's seamless. It's just coming into a C. And that's how I throw my axes the most. Actually, that's how I throw my axes all the time now. And it works really good for accuracy, consistency, and power. Like I said, you don't have to worry about fingers and thumbs getting out of the way. It really is just seamless. You kind of come into a C. Boom. Now, I will tell you guys, if you choke up on the axe handle at any point in time, that's going to be really hard grip to use because when you go to throw, the axe handle's probably going to come back and hit you in the arm. Whereas if you have a handshake, you can choke up on an axe. That is the only con with that C grip, is that you just can't choke up on the handle. I'll be honest with you guys, very rarely do I choke up on an axe handle for throwing. I just don't see the point in it. When you get really good, you can put your hand on the handle at the same spot each time and be able to stand where you want to stand at and manipulate your arm for throwing, which will be another video too when it comes to throwing mechanics. But that's really the only con that I can think of at this time, is just you can't choke up on your axe handle. But like I said, I don't need to. But I tell you what, that C grip, it just slides right out of your hand. You don't have to worry about moving your fingers out of the way really quick. It's just a nice smooth release out, and you can be very accurate and very consistent with it. Also too, like I said before, the power is really good with this grip. Now I'm going to put out a bunch of different videos in this series, and that'll be later on, but I can show you guys later how you can actually manipulate your grip and your release when it comes to moving your wrist. Yes, you can move your wrist if you need to do different things, especially when it comes to throwing in between a single and double rotation, and you're like, well, I need to back up to throw the axe. No, you don't. But I'm going to show you guys in a future video how your grip and your wrist and how you manipulate it can get you that stick between a single and a double rotation. But I'm trying to start off with basics, guys. We're going to start you from crawling, and then we're going to get up to sprinting, okay? I will tell you one more thing before we get out of here. When it comes to where you place your hand on the actual axe handle, a lot of people are going to say, well, Wes, how do I know where to put my hand at on the axe handle when I'm throwing? Like if I throw one day and then I come back a second day and I pick up the axe handle, well, what if I go up a little too far? How do you know where to put your hand? Okay, so the easiest way that I can tell you guys how to do this is to go outside with your axe and throw it. Make sure you pay attention to where your hand is on the axe handle. If you find a good place, just take a knife and make a small little slit in the axe handle right above your thumb. Then that way when you go to pick up your axe handle, you know where to put your hand, okay? And that's a good way for beginners to learn how to put their hand on the axe handle and where to put it each time, so they're not coming up a little too high or coming down too low. And as you guys know, when you get really good, it really doesn't matter where you put your hand on the axe handle. You can kind of put it wherever you want. I'm just giving you guys some information on this is a good way to put your hand on the axe handle, make a mark, so that way when you come back a week later, you can go, oh man, where was I putting my, was it here, was it here? You have a mark there and you'll go, okay, I know my hand goes right there. And then after a while, guys, it really won't matter. You can grab it wherever and throw it however you want. That's a good beginner's way to get you to progress to this level here. Sorry guys, I'm not throwing a whole heck of a lot in this video. I don't know if you guys saw, but I made a ton of shorts the other day, and I also filmed the DeWalt hardware store hatchets. Are they good enough for axe throwing? I filmed all of that in the same day. Guys, my arm is toast right now. It's actually hurting a little bit throwing this right now with this baby little hatchet. So I'm not going to throw a ton in this one. But I hope this information found you well. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I hope you got something out of it. The idea here, like I always say, guys, is to start off with basics and get you running to do crazy stuff later on. Oh my God, delivery truck, stop with the beeping. So guys, take a look at your hand placement. Are your knuckles sticking out like this? Is your axe head kick whenever you rotate your wrist straight? Take a look at that. When you release your axe, do you feel like it's dragging on your fingers? Do you feel like you're not getting a clean throw? Try that C grip. Boom. Rotate your wrist down just a little when you go to release the axe, so that way it cleanly comes out of your hand, okay? Boom, okay? And I want to say something really quick too, guys. When I do that C grip and I go to release it, it's not that I'm letting it rotate out of my hands, it's that it's coming out of the C. So it looks like this. It's coming out like this, okay? I'm not doing this, and I'm not letting it drag on my fingers either. It's coming out of the little pocket that I've created. Boom. Like this. See? And as you guys see, I'm just naturally doing it. See how my wrist is? I'm just naturally kicking my wrist down a little bit. If you don't kick your wrist down a little bit, it may drag on your fingers. So remember, when you come down, kick that wrist just a little bit down and you'll be good. And you'll be able to... I hope that helps. I really do. I think it will. I think it'll help some of you figure out why you're missing maybe at a double single rotation, maybe why your axe head's hitting weird. Could be your grip, could be your release. Try what I taught you. Tell me if it works for you. Go down in the comment section. Yeah, Wes, it worked. Or no, it didn't work for me. Either way, let me know if you guys try it and if it works for you. Appreciate all the support. Always. Like always, guys, me and Dave are out here throwing for you all the time. Thinking of new videos, thinking of new ways to improve your axe game. Trying to pick my brain. Dave's always trying to pick my brain. But I hope that stuff found you well. I really do. I really do hope that this stuff is helping you guys. That's the whole point. I'm not hiding secrets here. I want to give you guys all the knowledge that I have because I want everybody out there throwing like I do. I think it's cool. I'd love to be able to have a bunch of people around me throwing like I do. It'd be so cool. Could you imagine if there was 2 or 3 of me in one video and we were all in unison throwing axes to one another, hitting triple rotations, another person comes around a corner, hits a double, somebody else comes up flying with a single over. Talk about some badass dudes. Man, I'd love to get up with some people like that and throw. That would be awesome. Hopefully it'll be some of you guys soon. Hopefully. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Me and Dave are going to go eat. It's getting a little close to lunchtime, or is it dinner? So, but yeah, hope this information found you well. Hope you guys go outside, and I hope that this will get you sticking, or at least bring something to the table that'll go, oh, hey, you know, Wes was making a good point. Maybe I should try this. And maybe it's not exactly what I told you, but it changes your thinking, and it improves your accuracy and your consistency and your power. That'd be great. I'd be happy with that. But until next time, guys, see you. Right in the face. See you guys.